Fine. So today we are talking regarding Pontics Part 2. In this topic, we are going to have a revision from the last lecture, what we have seen in the last lecture. Then in this lecture, we will study the most important part of the Pontic, that is your classification of Pontic. My voice is clear now?
Yes, Dr. Muslim.
Okay.
Yes, Dr. Muslim.
Fine. So the most important part we will be talking about is classification of Pontic. And once we study the classification and Pontic, then we will study each Pontic design as an individual, where they are indicated, what type of Pontics are exist, and in which particular clinical situation they are indicated. Everything we will see in today's part. And at the end, we will be having the summary and the references for your Pontic part. Now coming to the revision from the part 1. In part 1, what we have seen is what is Pontic. Pontic is basically a suspended member of a fixed partial denture which is going to replace the missing natural tooth. And when it replaces the missing natural tooth, that means it is going to replace all the functions which has been lost because of that loss of tooth. So that is the main function of your Pontic. Then we have seen one picture where we have seen that the tooth was extracted along with the prosthesis. So it happens because we violated the Antes law. And what is Antes law? It is a pericemental area of a pontic should be equal or more than the pericemental area of the abutment tooth. So this Antes law is one of the most important criteria whenever you want to give any fixed partial denture. Followed by Antes law, we have also studied what are the ridge defect classification. Last time we have studied that we have a Siebert's ridge defect classification who has classified this ridge defect into three different categories: class 1, class 2 and class 3. And along with that classification, we have also seen if we have class 1 defect or class 2 defect or class 3 defect, what kind of management we can do to correct that defect. So this is what all in our last lecture. So starting for today's lecture, first of all we will see the classification of Pontic. Now basically classification for the Pontic, it was proposed by many authors. That means many authors they have given their own classification. Now there is a book of prosthodontics given by written by Tillman. He has given one classification, so we should know what type of classification he has given. Then Rosenstiel, he also proposed his classification. So we will study his classification as well. And along with these two classification, there is one more classification which is based on the material used to fabricate the pontic. So basically, in today's lecture, we are going to see three classifications for pontic. One is given by Tillman, second is given by Rosenstiel, and the third one is given according to the material used to fabricate the pontic. Start with the classification which is given by Tillman, which is according to the material used. So this has been classified into three different categories. When the pontic is fabricated completely with the help of metal, so that is your metal pontic. Then we have a combination of metal and porcelain, which is called as PFM or porcelain fused to metal. So when you fabricate a pontic which is structured by or supported by the metal, and on the top there is a ceramic, so that is your metal ceramic pontic. And the third one we have is metal with ceramic. So your metal and porcelain and metal with resin, they are nearly same. Only difference is in the place of porcelain we have resin. But nowadays this resin is nobody using. The reason for not using the resin is that it gets discolored in time, number one. Second is it doesn't have that much amount of strength as compared to porcelain. Then the resin, it is wears easily during long run. So because of this, nowadays we are not using metal with resin, but this classification is there which is based on the material used to fabricate the pontic. Now coming to, and that classification is given by Tillman. This classification depends on the shape of the pontic. So basically he has classified into 4 to 5 different categories. First is your sanitary pontic. Now as you can see in that picture, there is a space in between your ridge and your pontic. So let me show you quickly. So if you observe here, there is a space in between your pontic and your ridge. So this variety of pontic, this type of pontic, they are called as sanitary pontic. Second pontic we have modified sanitary pontic. Here also if you observe carefully, you will come to know that there is a space between your edentulous ridge and your pontic. But if you observe carefully, you will come to know the shape of this pontic is like your fish belly. So this is also called as fish belly pontic. So this is called as modified sanitary pontic. So sanitary pontic and modified sanitary pontic, nearly they are same if you compare both of them. Then we have a saddle pontic. Now this is the most commonly used type of pontic. In earlier days, this was the most commonly used type of pontic, saddle pontic. Why it is called as saddle pontic? Because if you observe this ridge, now this ridge they have compare like a back of the horse, and when you ride on the horse, that means you sit on the back of the horse. So the tooth or the pontic is sitting on the back of the horse. So this is like a saddle. I hope you understand the saddle, meaning of saddle, if you did the horse riding. So this is your saddle pontic. This is clear?
Yes, Doctor. Clear.
Good. Then
Yes, Doctor. Yeah.
similarly, like your modified sanitary pontic, here also we have saddle, and then there are whatever drawbacks are there with this saddle pontic, we try to rectify that drawbacks by giving this ridge lap type of pontic. Now if you observe the design of this pontic, you will come to know that the design of this saddle and ridge lap pontic is nearly same. It is not same, but it is nearly same. So this is your fourth type of pontic. After that we have little modification with ridge lap type of pontic, and we call it as a modified ridge lap. Now if you observe here, on this area there is some kind of modification. Here there is a contact with the ridge on the palatal side, but here if you observe there is no contact with the ridge. So I will let you know what are the drawbacks with this saddle pontic. Then you will understand why we did these modifications. Then we have is your ovate pontic. Now if you see the shape of this pontic, it looks like a ovate. So that is called that's why it is called as ovate type of pontic. So basically Tillman he has classified this pontic which are depending upon the design of the pontic, and he classified as sanitary pontic, modified sanitary pontic, saddle, ridge lap, modified ridge lap, and ovate pontic. When you study for the first time this is little confusing, but when you revise 2 3 times it still has given same classification. I mean in his classification all the pontic designs are nearly same, but what he did, he was clever. So what he did, he has categorized this pontic into two different subcategories, that is your mucosal contact and no mucosal contact. Mucosal contact, as the name suggests, mucosal contact, that means it is having contact with the mucosa. And no mucosal contact, we have seen sanitary pontic. Hello, am I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, just a second.
Okay. So as you know that in sanitary pontic we have seen there was some gap in between the tissue surface and the pontic. So that was no mucosal contact. And mucosal contact means there is a contact between the pontic and the mucosa, like your saddle pontic what we have seen. So now first we will see what are the mucosal contact pontics. Number one is your conical pontic. Now it is the design is covered with that um, bar, but this is a conical pontic. Then we have a ridge lap pontic. So this ridge lap pontic, Tillman has used this ridge lap pontic in his classification, but he didn't separate the mucosal and the non-mucosal. So in mucosal contact, we have conical, ridge lap, then we have modified ridge lap, some modification with the ridge lap, and we have modified ridge lap, and then we have ovate pontic. Now, if you observe this, you will come to know that this conical pontic was not included with Tillman's classification, but Rosenstiel has classified it as a conical pontic. Now you can see the shape. We will see in depth how is the shape. So these are the four different subcategories for your mucosal type of pontics. And in no mucosal contact, we have sanitary pontic. Here the diagram is wrong. So I please accept apology for that. And then we have modified sanitary pontic. Here also the diagram is wrong. So this is no mucosal type of pontic. So now one in depth regarding the ridge lap. Now these are mucosal contact, ridge lap. Now as you can see, this is your ridge lap, or it is also called as saddle pontic, right? The other name is saddle pontic or horseshoe shape type of pontic. This pontic is concave. Now if you observe this, this is concave that overlaps the ridge buccally and the lingually. Buccally also it is overlapping, and lingually also overlapping. So this type of pontic, it can be used for your anterior teeth also, posterior teeth also, maxillary, mandibular, all teeth. We can use this saddle type of pontic. So this is like a universal pontic. Advantage with this type of pontic, it is having very good aesthetic because it looks like the tooth is emerging from the gingiva, and patient is also having lot of comfort. But along with this advantage, we have certain disadvantage. Because it is covering all the reach from the buccal side and from the lingual side, maintenance of hygiene beneath this pontic becomes very difficult for the patient. And if something goes and stuck in between the pontic and the mucosa, it is not coming out by the patient's effort. And if it stuck there for longer period of time, patient might feel or patient might experience bad breath, that is halitosis. So these are the drawbacks with your saddle type of pontic. Now I would like to that will explain what are the consequences of giving this ridge lap type of pontic. Now, if you observe, this is your ridge lap type of pontic. See the shape of this ridge lap type of pontic, and because it is having continuous contact with the mucosa, there is a inflammation in long run, or if there is a pressure acted on this mucosa, there might be inflammation, ridge resorption could be there in this edentulous area. So that is the main drawback. So when you remove this prosthesis, you will come to know that there is lot of inflammation in that area, which is not acceptable. If you come to know that this type of situation is there, it is better to remove the fixed partial denture, give some tissue conditioner, and automatically the tissue will heal within 1 week. So this is the drawback with your ridge lap type of pontic. That is the reason nowadays we preferably don't advise ridge lap type of pontic. I hope this is clear with everyone.
Yes, sir.
Let's move ahead. Now we will see modified ridge lap pontic. Now you know that there was some drawback with that ridge lap type of pontic. If something goes and stuck in between, we cannot remove. So what we did some modification. We changed little shape from the palatal side, from the lingual side, so that aesthetic cannot be hampered. This is buccal side. So whatever buccal shape is there, that we kept like that, same like your ridge lap type of pontic, but we change the shape from the palatal side, from the lingual side, in such a way that we will be able to have some kind of maintenance from the palatal side. So this was the modification what we did with your modified ridge lap type of pontic. So it is having combination of hygiene, and it is also combination of your saddle pontic. So whatever aesthetic was achieved with your saddle pontic, same type of aesthetic can be achieved with modified ridge lap. Along with that, we have also achieved the hygiene by modifying the palatal side or lingual side. Now, if you observe the tissue contact, it resembles like a T shape. Now, if you observe this tissue contact, it resembles like a T shape. Now you can see when you have this type of pontic, aesthetic is excellent. There is no compromise with the aesthetic, and at the same time we are also able to maintain the hygiene. So this is added advantage. So instead of using ridge lap type of pontic nowadays, preferably many dentists they prefer to go with the modified ridge lap type of pontic. So this is clear. This type of pontic can be advised for your anteriors, for posteriors, for maxillary, for mandibular. These are universal pontic. You can advise this type of pontic in any situation. Then you can see here the beauty of your modified ridge lap type of pontic. They looks very natural. It looks like it is appearing emerging from the gingiva. They used in the area of mouth that are visible during function. So whatever aesthetic zone is there, that is your maxillary anteriors, sometimes premolar, these are your aesthetic zones. So preferably we use modified ridge lap type of pontic in that zone. Maxillary and mandibular anteriors, maxillary premolars, and first molar. These are the areas usually where we advise modified ridge lap type of pontic. Now we will are the conical pontic. Now as you can see, the shape of this pontic is like a cone. That is why it is called as conical pontic. They are also commonly called as egg shaped pontic, bullet shaped pontic, or heart shaped pontic. These are the other name for your conical pontic. uh, it is easy for patient to clean. Now if you observe here, there is sufficient amount of space which is available, and as there is a space, your patient can use interdental brushes to clean that space. So hygiene is not a big issue with this conical type of pontic. The surface, it is made as convex as possible, which is having only one point of contact. So whatever tissue irritation was there with your ridge lap and modified ridge lap, that tissue irritation or pressure on the tissue, that problem is not existed with your conical type of Pontic. That is the beauty of one point of contact. Now this conical Pontic, it is basically recommended for your mandibular posterior teeth where aesthetic is lesser concerned, because you know that as there is a space between your retainer and your Pontic, so that we can properly clean that area, and there is a only, we are about to finish, remaining time is 10 minutes. Okay, I will go fast. So whatever space is there, this space doesn't look aesthetically good. So because of that reason, it is not advisable in aesthetic zone. But mandibular posterior comes in non-aesthetic zone. So we can advise this type of conical Pontic with mandibular posteriors. Unsuitable for broader ridge, because if you have a broader ridge, then there would be a problem of food lodgement, so we don't prefer to give it on the broader ridge. The best situation is your knife edge ridge. When you have your knife edge ridge, these are the best suitable for giving your conical type of. Coming to the ovate Pontic, they are most aesthetically appealing type of Pontic. Now as you can see here, this is your extraction socket. So when you give a Pontic, we give that Pontic into this socket. So it looks like, now if you see here, it looks like the tooth is emerging from the socket. So they are most aesthetically pleasing type of Pontic. They are having most convexity, and this convexity, it enters into that depression, into that socket. Now, if you want to give this ovate type of Pontic, you have to plan right from the extraction stage. So when you do the extraction of that particular tooth, you have to preserve the socket. So that technique is called as socket preservation technique, where you preserve your buccal and the palatal cortical plate. If it fractures, that is not called as socket preservation technique. So it is like traumatic extraction. So if you want to give ovate Pontic, you should go with the socket preservation technique. But if already there is an extraction done before, and if you want to give ovate Pontic, then you have to do the soft tissue augmentation. Now what is this soft tissue augmentation? You basically create a depression. Surgically you create a depression into the ridge, that is called as soft tissue augmentation, so that you have a depression and you can put your Pontic into that depression, so that it looks like it is emerging from the socket. So that is your ovate, most aesthetically pleasing type of Pontics. Then for pre-existing residual ridge, soft tissue surgical augmentation is typically required. This is your soft tissue augmentation done, right? We can create a depression surgically. That is called as your soft tissue ridge augmentation. What are the advantage with ovate Pontic? It is most pleasing appearance, and it is also having a strength, right? Because in modified ridge lap, if you observe here, this is unsupported structure. So in long run, because of pressure, it might fracture. That type of problem doesn't exist with your ovate type of Pontic. So it is having pleasing appearance as well as it is having good amount of strength. Along with this advantage, we have certain disadvantages. Disadvantage is that in sometimes if you fail to have a socket preservation technique, or if your patient is having history of extraction 4 to 5 months before, in that case, if you wish to give ovate Pontic, you have to go with some surgical tissue management. So that is the drawback. So that will also increase the cost also. This already we have seen. Now coming to the no mucosal type of contact, first is your sanitary pontic. Other name of sanitary pontic is your hygiene pontic. My voice is audible, guys?
Yes, Doctor. Yes.
Okay. So this is your hygienic pontic. As you can see, there is a space between your mucosa and your pontic. That is why it is called as no mucosal contact type of pontic. They are used basically in non-aesthetic zone, and preferably they are used mostly in mandibular molars where your patient oral hygiene is not good, or your patient is not following the oral hygiene instructions properly. After doing counseling for multiple times also, if your patient doesn't follow the oral hygiene instructions properly, then in mandibular posterior region basically we prefer to give sanitary type of pontic. The most important criteria for sanitary pontic is occlusogingival thickness should not be less than 3 millimeter. This thickness of the pontic should not be less than 3 millimeter, and there should be at least minimum 2 millimeter space available between the mucosa and the lower surface of your pontic. That is the minimum requirement for this pontic. If you have reduction in space less than 3 millimeter, then you are going to compromise the strength of the pontic. So these are the criteria that you are supposed to look after when you design this type of pontic for that particular patient. Now what are the advantage? Very easy to clean. You can ask your patient to gargle and it will clean by itself because the space is so huge. 2 millimeter is a big space, so it will automatically clean by itself. Disadvantage, sometimes some big food chunks may entrapped into this area, and it is very annoying for your patient's tongue to have this kind of food lodgement. So that is the disadvantage with your pontic. Now along with this sanitary pontic, we have modified sanitary pontic. So as you can see here, they are like arc way. If you observe the space, uh, just like your fish belly appearance. Now this geometry allows increase connector size. Now if you observe here, the size of the connector is increased, and because the size of the connector is increased, there is more strength. The flexural strength will be increased because the size of the connector is increased. So this is advantage with your modified center. They are less susceptible to the tissue proliferation that can occur when a pontic is too close to the residual ridge. So this is your advantage. Uh, this is a quick overview of all type of pontic that we have seen: sanitary, saddle ridge lap, conical, modified ridge lap, ovate pontic. So you can go through this chart. Now coming to the summary, the design that allow easy plug control are especially very important for a pontic for a proper successful of that particular fixed partial denture. And this pontic design is the most important criteria for your success of fixed partial denture. Minimizing the tissue contact by maximizing the convexity of the pontic's gingival surface is very essential because that will also increase the strength of your connector. So that is the beauty of different designs of your pontic. So you have to select it. So what we have covered in today's topic, we have seen the classification of pontic. uh, Basically, Tillman has given the classification, Rosenstiel has given the classification, and there is one more classification depending upon the material used to fabricate the pontic. Then we have seen the different designs of that pontic and where they are indicated, what are the advantages and disadvantages of that particular design, and we have seen the summary. So this is all what we have covered today. Now I would like to take your doubts. Do you have any doubts, guys?
No, Doctor. That's clear. Clear, clear, sir.
All clear?
Yeah, Doctor. Yes. Yes.